Speaking of Snape, it says he's getting up off the ground after the game. Did Harry knock him off his broom? Because it made it sound like Harry came real fucking close. Like he was going for the snitch and Snape just happened to be in his way, so he just went for the snitch, but it doesn't say he hit him.
I think he, like, zoomed by him real fast, but I think he's just, like, coming down, like, normal, like, went to the ground and got off his broom. I think he knew, obviously, from probably, like, the cheers and stuff, he got the snitch.
Oh, okay. So he didn't hit him.
No,
Snape just
he didn't, like, knock him down. No.
And then was all pissed off per the norm.
Right.
Yeah. He saw Snape land nearby, white-faced and tight-lipped. So.
Okay.
He definitely freaked him the fuck out, though.
Isn't his face always white? He's like pasty.
He's sallow and like, pasty.
Right. Like your word used better, but, you know.
I also noticed Hermione gets really excited over these games. She was making, like, flashing glitter posters and shit for the last one, and she's paying attention to the game. That's not really in character for a person like Hermione. She doesn't strike me as a person who would have time for sports. Now, I think part of it is that she's got a friend that's playing. She cares about Harry, so she may not really care about Quidditch, but she's watching her friend. But Gryffindor wins, and she loses her mind. And I was just like, ha, cool.
I do think there is a level of competitiveness, though, that rides within the academic world. Like, McGonagall is very competitive, and she's also, like, smart as a whip, too. And I feel like there is some level of, I don't know.
It's a battle of wits.
Yeah, and I feel like she competes all the time in the classroom to be the best, and so she can respect the level of competition in a game like this, especially if her friend is doing it and he's winning. Like, it's exciting. It's exciting for her when she gets top marks in the class, and so I think there's some similarities there that she can relate to, maybe.
I wonder if she vicariously lives through the people playing. Like, she watches, but her intelligence can only take her so far, and maybe where she, you know, like, strives academically, she doesn't in the physical, sporty sense. So she's, like, a good, hardcore cheerer, but she could probably not actually play herself.
Yeah, she's not apt at flying.
Yeah, that was one thing. Even back in the beginning, in their first flying class, it was not her forte. The broom did not pop up for her like it did a couple of the other kids.
That's true.
I think because you're in control, but you have to kind of give some control up when you go up into the air.
Just like riding a motorcycle.
Right. I think that she has a hard time with that. Or like riding a horse. She may not be great at riding a horse because the horses can, like, sense your fear, and I feel like she would be afraid to give something else that level of control. I think that there's later books that stuff like that happens where she's not super comfortable getting on things like that.
Right, I get you.
Her brain knows all the things that could go wrong, so she's like, nope, better not.
I think it's also one of those things that you can't just learn it. You kind of have to have a natural talent and ability.
And trust in it to just work.
Right. And I think when it comes to her, she can learn things from a book and she can nail it. But when it comes to the things that require a little bit of that natural talent and just having that natural talent, I think that's something that she doesn't have, and that's why she overcompensates with the reading and the learning, because things don't come always naturally for her. She has to almost force it.
Which has happened in the books before. Making friends doesn't come easy to her either.
And she tried to force it.
Right. And then we kind of got a cool surprise. Dumbledore's down on the field and congratulates Harry on, like, basically winning the game in 5 minutes.
Right.
Dumbledore is probably aware. As we know, he's old, so he's probably seen a couple Quidditch matches in his day. So what Harry just did was pretty unfounded. He talks to him about how he's been keeping busy doing other stuff and not worrying about the mirror. He just gives him a pat on the back. Hey, man, good job.
Attaboy.
Glad to see you're doing it right.
Yeah, so that was nice.
I find it odd that after that it's described that Snape spat bitterly on the ground. So he, like, spit on the ground was my take on that.
Yeah.
I don't know why I really want to touch base on this other than, like, it just sounded weird. I don't visualize him as one that's just gonna, like, spit on the ground and be like, well, that fucking sucked, and then just spit on the ground.
He seems too proper for that.
Yeah, I felt like that was a little beneath him, maybe, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. I see what they were going for, though. That angry, like, cartoony, like, chewy.
Yeah.
Cross arms and sit there brooding.
Huffing and puffing, whatever. Yeah. But I don't feel that... I could see him standing there glaring profusely or whatever, but spitting on the ground, I don't know. That just wasn't striking anything for me in the visual sense.
One of the next things that the book brings up, Harry kind of seems far away from it all, and he's just kind of euphoric, like he's just had the best day ever. He just won life today, pretty much. The crowds are cheering, everybody's going nuts. And then it says something that we've been wondering.
Yes.
Yes.
He brings his broom to the fucking broom shed.
Yes.
I was like, see? They have one.
Capital letters on my notes.
So I listened to the episode, and James was closest.
Ah.
It is in a building of some kind outside. Now, it doesn't say whether or not... James's point was that the brooms could just leave because a wizard would call the broom, and it couldn't be locked in there. And we said, well, no, they're just sitting outside. But no, they're in a building. It doesn't say whether or not they have access to the outside.
Obviously not a heated building.
Right, no, because he still has to, it's probably like a garage.
Yeah.
Like it's just a shed.
Yeah.
An outdoor storage space.
Nothing fancy.
Yeah.
But, yeah. I was like, what? He's walking on the broom? What the fuck? This whole time, we just thought wizards were kind of idiots. And no, they have a shed for their shit.
We got to figure it out.
I wanted to bring that up so bad when I read it.
I did think it was weird, though. Again, he just won the fucking game. Put them into the championships, right? And he's left alone. Nobody's like, hey, dude, I also have a broom. I will also bring mine back with you. Or, for fuck's sake, his two best friends, who weren't apparently waiting outside the locker room for him to leave. It's just weird to me that he was going to the broom shed by himself, like, reminiscing about this awesome game. Again, everyone was just like, yeah, totally go, game-winning kid.
Why does he have to bring it back when it's brought to him?
Right.
Why wouldn't they collect them on the field? You know what? That's a good point. They do that with hockey sticks. They bring them back to the side of the rink and they leave them there. They collect them after.
The equipment manager usually grabs up. They usually have a kid for that.
Yeah, they have a guy for that.
Yeah.
They don't got to worry about that shit.
Hagrid.
Yeah, I thought it was very strange that he was alone again after all the hullabaloo, and he just is sitting, leaning against this woodshed, this little broom shed, just staring up at Hogwarts, reminiscing about his awesome fucking victory. But he sees Snape coming out of the castle, all sneaky as shit. I imagine him, like, creeping, like a creepy little fucking bat, you know, across the grounds. And Harry's like, he's sneaking out at dinner. That's strange. Meanwhile, his ass is leaning against the fucking woodshed alone during dinner time, and that's not weird, apparently.
This is the second time he's gotten away from his team while they're celebrating. I would think that eventually they would get on him about that. Like, dude, you need to be a member of this team. Otherwise, get the fuck out of here. Even if you're winning, you can't be a loner on a team like that.
Right. At the very least, why aren't they worried, like, where's Harry? It's dinner time. We're all stuffing our fucking faces.
Right.
He should be eating, because, like, he just did a thing. And then Snape is eventually fucking running into the forest. He went from, like, creeping sneakily out to fucking sprinting into the forest, and that looks hilarious in my, like, he's
the forbidden forest.
Yeah.
And then Harry is just like, gonna follow him into the forbidden forest.
On his Nimbus 2000.
Yeah, on his broom, just flying away after him.
Also, bullshit, he fucking lands in the top of a fucking birch tree
I wanted to make a point just before that. Not going to the forest was literally the first thing Harry ever heard Dumbledore say.
Yeah. That
It
was
was like,
rule number 1.
Right, and he was looking
For
at Fred and
students.
George. Right, for any students.
Yeah.
He's like, do not go to the forest and don't go upstairs because you'll die. And since then, he's figured out why you'll die, and so he follows Snape into the forest.
Well,
Chances are pretty good you're probably going to fucking die, dude. Like, he wasn't lying about dying in the castle. Who knows what's in the forest?
well, his balls got a little bigger because he didn't get killed by the three-headed dog. He was like, I can handle it. I'm
I
good.
guess so.
He's pumped up on the Quidditch win. He's just he's just doing this. He's going for it.
But I think it's funny because there's no fucking way. It's bullshit that he lands in a fucking beech tree and doesn't make any noise.
Yeah.
And then climbs along the branches holding his fucking broom.
No.
Yeah, silently. This little gangly 11-year-old little motherfucker is like, dee 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 dee, and not making any noise. Mm-mm.
In a tree.
No chance.
No way.
Nope.
Snape is obviously like, hey, Harry, listen to our conversation. Or he's an idiot. And Quirrell is there stuttering like always, and he doesn't know why Snape wanted to meet out there in the creepy fucking forest.
I don't know why he wanted to meet out there in the creepy forest. I mean, is there not any other place?
And what the hell is the point in going out there to the creepy Forbidden Forest if you're still gonna be all like, hey, Sorcerer's Stone! Like super loud.
Right.
Instead of using like code words like the stone or hey, that thing or you know what. Like literally any other thing you could say.
Nope, we're going to call it what it is. Just going to talk about it out loud, about our plot to try and get it.
Confidence.
He
Well, they're
was
being-
so sure.
Some cocky motherfuckers right now. I mean, gosh dang.
So you hear Snape and Quirrell talking about the Sorcerer's Stone, and Snape is telling Quirrell that he has to figure out where his loyalties lie, because he's kind of playing dumb. But you can tell through their interaction that Quirrell knows about the stone, and Snape knows about the stone, and he's
And-
trying to figure out how to get to it.
They also know the three-headed dog, the beast as he calls it, is Hagrid's. He asks Quirrell if he's figured out how to get past that beast, which is Fluffy.
Where exactly is he asking does his loyalties lie?
He
Is
doesn't
he asking for Dumbledore's side or for Voldemort's side?
It doesn't make it very clear. We only get bits of the conversation. He says something about needing Quirrell's bit of hocus pocus, but we don't really know what that means. And then he mentions they will talk again after he has a chance to think over where his loyalties lie. That could imply a couple things.
It could imply his loyalty to Snape. We don't really know. There's no real players in the stone except for Dumbledore is keeping it safe for Nicholas Flamel. But we don't really know who exactly is after it or why, other than Snape's trying to do something with it.
Anybody would have good reason to go after the stone.
Right.
Right.
You want some gold? You want some life?
Yeah, I don't think Harry's thinking outside of the scope of Snape right now either. I don't think he really thinks Snape's working for anybody. He might, maybe, but I think all he knows for sure is Snape's trying to fucking get the stone, and duh, why wouldn't he want it?
Well, it's kind of the way it looks. It kind of sounds like Snape saying, hey, dude, where's your loyalty? Like, are you going to help me get this thing or what?
Right.
Like, they're probably going to steal it for themselves.
Exactly.
It doesn't imply that there's any greater scheme going on, though there probably is. We don't know that.
Yes. Exactly.
This conversation ends pretty abruptly, and Harry ends up heading back up to the school, and he runs into Ron and Hermione again.
Right.
And they're like,
We've won, you've won, we've won.
Yep, that's how that went.
I was going to say, they're at the party that Harry skipped out on.
Right.
They are all there, and they're not even on the team.
they're all like, Harry, come up to the common room. We have stolen food and shit. Fred and George got from the kitchens.
I gave Malfoy a black eye.
Ah, yeah. Ron totally got him.
And Harry once again has to ruin the mood with his fucking sad news.
I liked because it goes into the fight just a little bit. They tell Harry